In this video, sponsored by Lancaster Insurance, I'm having my first drive in the Fox. And I don't plan to keep you waiting either. I've completed the wiring. Where we went horribly wrong last time is when we had fire, it was because we'd got this earth point attached to the coil. I saw the wire there and incorrectly assumed that's where it went. That is now bolted to the timing case, which means the lights are now earthed through the engine, through the big cable you can see here, to the battery. So when we haven't got the jump lead in place anymore. Oh, there we go, kicking the toolbox. I said I never did that. So yeah, we've got the earth as it should. We've not got the right battery. I'm going to order up the right battery. So the terminals are a bit iffy, but I don't care. I'm going to see if I can just drive it under its own power for the first time in, well, several years. I'm not aiming to go far. I just want to get it running, hopefully on the choke, because I haven't actually got the throttle cable, or indeed the choke cable, connected up at the moment. I'm hoping we can just bring the car forward. Let's give it a go. I should add, we've still got no coolant in the engine or anything like that. This really is just a basic, will it move? Let's move that back a bit. I might take that off the roof. That's the front panel. And let's see if that locks in. No. No, that is not working. Does sound like the battery is a little bit low, but try again. I'll just give her a squirt or two of fuel. There should be fuel in the carburetor because I topped the float bowl up yesterday and she only ran very, very briefly, so she shouldn't have got through that. Oh, one of the wiper blades got broken when we put the engine in. Oh well, it was a nice idea. Here's a treat for the Malaysian car fans. We've got a Proton Savvy on the driveway. A very curious looking little car. And fittingly, it's currently replacing the Nipper. The artist formerly known as Mrs. Hubnut has made a visit. And the curious Savvy is a courtesy car while the Nipper's in for some MOT work, brake pipes and tyres, and a bit embarrassing about the tyres because I do try and keep an eye on them, but nonetheless the Savvy is here to play with. Might try and have another look around it another day, but we haven't got much time today. But look at that, bright yellow dials. And yeah, I wish I could describe the smell of this courtesy car. It is intriguing. Not a bad little thing. Savvy is pretty much a Renault Clio under the skin, but much more interesting to look at. I'm not sure it's quite a beautiful car, but it's definitely intriguing. Anyway, back to Foxy matters. Can we get her to start again? Certainly confirmed that reverse is hard to find. It is many days later, so we had our little drive back and forth just as a proof of concept, and it's now time to crack on and actually try and do some plumbing. I think I'm going to start with a throttle cable because that'll be a really useful thing. Now I've got it starting on the key and everything, and the electrics sort of sorted for now, and then I think we'll crack on with some actual plumbing. Actual plumbing is going to involve putting the radiator in and sorting out all the pipe work, and I'm really not sure what the pipe work is like. We've got two heater pipes here, the pipes for which were utterly ruined, so they will be getting sorted out, and I think that is the wire for the temperature gauge feed. That is only a guess, but it is kind of just sort of spare and hanging there, and that will connect there. And then there's all manner of pipe work to sort out. Oh no, I've just remembered. I know what I was doing last time. Last time I was trying to connect the down pipe up, and that was not happening. Cannot get the threads clean on that manifold, so I have a nasty feeling that manifold's going to have to come off. Ah yes, I'm jumping ahead yet again. So yeah, it's actually going to be manifold off again, which isn't going to be as much fun now the engine's in, but there's still a reasonable bit of workspace around it, so hopefully it won't be too painful. Oh, let's just crack on and do it. I've got the tiny little manifold off again, and yeah, these holes are problematic. They just aren't taking bolts. I think the thread is in very poor form. Now if I had a machine shop, I might have the right UNC thread cutter to sort of redo the threads, but I don't, and I'm in the middle of nowhere, so it might actually be better to try and get some brand new studs, because I've managed to muller these studs trying to get them in. You see it's cut the thread up, something rotten, so they're now scrap, and yeah, maybe a new manifold and some new studs, see if that's an option, because that ain't pretty. You can also see how much the ports don't match the cylinder head. There's black marks all around it. So I think some people do open up the ports on the inlet and exhaust to improve the breathing of these engines, and I can't say I blame them at all. Right, I was going far up the old internet. I've decided to move the work indoors because I really can't be bothered with working outside. I mean, we've got snow on the hills, it's chucking it down with rain at the moment, and yeah, I'm staying in here where I can watch Mighty Car Mods while I work. So the thing I'm going to be doing is trying to clean up the thread. I'm hoping effectively I can just recut some new thread. Need to go and get the twisty bit. That's a technical term for winding that in. I think I've got one, and that's the thread we're hoping to match. Oh, got a bit of focus going on. Very coarse UNC thread, and it seems to match the cut, so that's good. The other end is UNF, so that's the end the nut's attached to. Much finer pitch compared to that which screws in to the manifold, so hopefully getting that in there will enable it to work. Obviously I'm protecting the table with a newspaper. I find classic Carburetor is most excellent for this purpose. Look, they've got an AMI on the front. Marvellous. Oh, that's the kettle. My tea is ready. Annoyingly, I found my other tap. I've got an 8mm one because I think I had to tap out something on a 2CV from 7 to 8mm once. Yeah, I can't find the thing that's meant to go on it. All I can find is this brake adjuster for Invercars and Reliance, which has the necessary square port, and I mean that will work. The whole point of the normal type is you get a bar both ways, so it's very easy to judge how straight you are, but frankly I don't think I care. This is Hubnut. We are not about the finest engineering, but I am about tea. Well, there we go. We seem to be cutting our way through. I'm using a back and forth movement, so you go forward a bit and then you come back. just to try and give things a chance to clear out a bit. I mean, you've got these big flutes that any chips should come out of, but I'll keep going because obviously the cut gets harder the further you go down. So hopefully this will do the trick, and it'll just kind of reinstate the threads that were already there but a bit gunked up, because these exhaust manifolds apparently not very easy to find. I mean, the only ones I could find were about 80 quid, so I'm considering this job well worth doing. Right, I think we'll wind that back out, and we'll try a stud in and see what happens. Moment of truth. Has to be said, it's quite difficult to watch videos while doing this, where you're actually making videos. So I haven't watched any of what's going on with Mighty Car Mods, but they seem to have broke their Evo, and I know just how they feel because I recently broke my 2CV. You know, it's a hard life sometimes. There we go. Probably do something for scooching all the crud out of there, but then we'll try one of the studs. But first, tea. Right, I can see a nice thread pattern in there. So let's take our stud. I bought many studs, so if I ruin one, it's not the end of the world. Oh, look at that. Excellent. I think that may well be our result going on. So if I grab another stud, they weren't very happy about going on here at the back either. So no, that's just not. So yeah, we're not trying to cut the thread, we're trying to remake what's already there or clean it up. So we'll get some fresh lube on that and clean all the crud out of it, and we'll give that a go as well. Excellent, this feels like progress. I've been having a bit of a grumpy week, so yeah, this will be good. Right, that one's been done as well. Sorry, just almost forgot my tea. And let's see. Now that feels good as well, but I'm slightly worried because that one is a through hole, so you can get the tap through a good way, but this one's blind, and problem is I'm not sure. You look how much of the tap is just the start bit. I'm not sure how much is actually cutting a nice thread for us. So yeah, this one might be a bit more tricky, but I can, you know, wind a nut on and give it a go. But I mean, it's definitely better. Maybe I'll give it just one more go with this, just wind it in by hand almost. But I think the problem is this is topping out before it's finished cutting. Do I sound like I know what I'm doing? Because I don't feel like I do. But yeah, because this is that actually forged as part of it? I don't know. But certainly that hole just doesn't seem to go deep enough. So my thread cutter is a little too shallow. Nonetheless, it's going to be better, I think. Because I certainly couldn't even get the stud started before. Look, all you proper engineers, shush. Oh, it might go, it might not. Go and get myself a nut and I can give it a bit of abuse. No, this second hole is still being problematic. We're chewing up the thread there. Still happening, and it's standing proud by about 1 millimeter, which I think is going to stop it sealing. And it might be that I can just wodge it up with exhaust paste and hope for the best, but even by my standards that's not great engineering. And it might be that perhaps it'll tighten up more when the locking force is applied, once we've actually got the manifold gasket and the downpipe in place. Or maybe I can use washers to space it out so it's somehow... no. Further ponderings to be pondered. Well, using this double nut lock technique, I've got the gap down to not very much. So I think I'm going to hope that that will tighten up once we get the downpipe on. Certainly better than it was. This stud nicely in place. Yeah, so much for this being a clean indoor job. Sometimes it's good to be a man living at home on his own. It's definitely one of those moments. But I shall transport all this muck to the garage. Right, manifold is back on. The eagle-eyed will have noticed I've actually used the shake-proof washers this time. I spotted that in the Haynes manual and had a big tub of them. So that's back on. So now we've got the exhaust downpipe down there. I'm now going to try and make that up. There's the gasket. Let's see how we get on with that. I won't be recording that because there is absolutely no way I can get you and my arms down in that tiny gap. And the main downpipe is attached, sort of. This one is just pulling out. This is the front one, so I'm giving up on that. We shall stick a nut and a bolt through, which is an option on the front hole because it isn't blind. It does go all the way through, so should be able to do nut and bolt. That'll do the job. I seem to be entirely missing the gaskets that go on the heat shield here and on the carburetor. I had one, but it occurs to me, there it is, that's probably a downpipe gasket. You wouldn't have a metal gasket on something that isn't going to get that hot, so I think good old cardboard will be to the rescue. I shall cut these out, hopefully they'll do the job. Right, manifold's back on. The first of my cardboard gaskets, homemade, is back in place. After that, I think the backing plate, the heat shield rather, goes on, which directs any leaky petrol away, as well as protecting the carburetor from the heat of the exhaust manifold. I mean, the strange thing is, it's a heated manifold, so obviously they were a bit worried about heat generally, but then heated the manifold up. I don't know. Oh, me bolt holes might be a bit tight on this one. Right, we'll give them a bit of work, I think. I've just been fitting a new throttle cable, but I can't see how it attaches, so I think I must be missing stuff. Because the cable's over here, but it's going to have to pull on the throttle that way. So it must have to connect to something that's missing here to enable it to pull up on that. And I'm assuming a return spring should actually go down here. I've been using a 2CV one, and I think I will continue to do so for testing purposes, but I just want to give her a run just to see if she now sounds muted as you'd expect. Right, all a bit soft focus, but there you go, oil everywhere. Let's see what we have going on. Not a fat lot, she might need a bit of assistance to kick into life. Oh, I'm running out of battery, so it better work this time. Well, that's mightily impressive, says I. How sweet does that sound? Don't want to run it for any longer than that. Still got no coolant in her. But yeah, there's a slight misfire going on. I'm not entirely sure about that. The timing is off, and it might just have been over choking a bit. I wired the choke on a bit too much, perhaps. In fact, I might just go and give her a go at that. Let's see if she'll fire on that. No, she doesn't like that. She did like the choke after all. Yeah, enough. We'll let her be now, and yeah, I can carry on plumbing the other stuff in. I would quite like, I'm in a difficult position. I would quite like to check the ignition timing, which should be nice and easy while the radiator's not in, but that means running the engine with no radiator, so I'm not very happy about that. So maybe I'll just plumb her in, and we'll see how we go. But yeah, sounding positive, I reckon, don't you? That's yeah, now it's starting to sound like a proper car and not like a motorbike. Right, we have another slight catastrophe as I try and work my way through my box of bits. It might not be the right cable, or it might be, but there's no way of attaching that cable to the throttle, and there's no way of attaching the cable to this point here, although a simple nut and washer should suffice. So that's all a bit bothersome. That's where I'm going to leave this one. We've got the engine in, we've got the exhaust connected up, it's sounding sweet. Yeah, I need to crack on with the cooling system. I need to check the fuel, because it'd be good to actually use the proper fuel tank. I can't hear any sloshing at the back, but what I might do is I have got a bore scope. I might shove that down the filler neck once I find the keys, and we'll see if if there's anything in there and what the state of the tank is in. So that's to come, cooling system to come, and then hopefully we can actually have a proper drive of the thing, because I know the clutch works, I know the brakes work, we know the engine runs, so it's just making that a more permanent state of affairs and having our first poodle. So hopefully next time. We've had that tiny little shunt back and forth to just tease at what might be coming, but yeah, there's still lots to do. I've got to go and take this little one, little Tuck. She's going in for her MOT today. She doesn't have to have an MOT, but she will have one because that's how I operate. So should be a video coming on that. Hopefully it won't be too interesting. Hopefully it'll just be she went for an MOT was achieved, but we shall see. So yeah, that's going to happen on Sunday. Look out on Sunday afternoon. There is a new car. There will be a collection caper underway on Sunday. And the only clue I will give you is that it's a model of a car we definitely saw at the NEC. That doesn't narrow it down at all, does it? So yeah, Sunday afternoon, hopefully that will be a big reveal if all goes well. And yeah, I'm going to run out of parking space, which means some cars are going to have to go. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. Oh, thanks again to Adam and the Reliant Owners Club for more invaluable information. Trying to find my own way with this would be horrific. It's so nice to have someone who just says, yes, that goes there, or no, you're missing this bit. Like the throttle linkage is, I've basically got the wrong cable and haven't got the right setup, so I know that now. I didn't know that before. So thank you, Adam. And yeah, I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.